What's up, everybody? Today's video is which football league is truly the best? My name is Greg, an American living abroad in Spain, learning the beautiful game of football, one question at a time with your help. And today's video is brought to you by Football Historia. I will definitely include a link in the description so you can go and show them some love, just like I'm going to do here right now by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. That would be awesome. So I decided to watch this because, I don't know, it's a little bit about the evolution of this channel. You know, I started this channel because I didn't know anything about football. You know, coming here from the United States, and in the United States, who I did know was Messi and Ronaldo. So I came here, and of course, everybody, you got to watch Messi. He's the GOAT, this, that, you know, the Messiah, all these popular Messi movies that every reactor reacts to. And so that's kind of where I started, which led to MSN, which led to all of a sudden I'm doing tons of Barcelona things because of Yamal is exciting, and you know, Rafinha had a great year, and all this kind of stuff that I was, you know, reacting to at the time. And then Liverpool and Chelsea start going crazy. and start hiring all these people. Chelsea won the Club World Cup, so I reacted to them, which led to more of that. So it almost kind of got pigeonholed into Premier League and Barcelona and a little bit of Real Madrid. So I figured, you know what? There are other leagues that I had planned to learn about that are in Europe. So I'm going to start doing that. Just, you know, not that I don't want to learn about all those other leagues, but there's, you know, I think where this came up is I watched a highlight reel of the list of the top 30 Ballon d'Or nominees for 2025. And there were a couple people, I was like, who are they? Oh, they play for teams in Italy. And I know nothing about them. So, you know what? I'm diving in. I just kind of want to give you a thought process a little bit on that and kind of what we're doing here today. Before we get started, go ahead and like the video. That would be super awesome. And let's go. Let's see what we got.
I haven't experienced this yet. This is the reason why I go to England. It's more difficult because there are more games.
What if I told you guys Pep isn't entirely telling the truth? The Premier League might be hard, but is it the best? The most entertaining? The craziest? Or even the one with a lot of mind-blowing fan passion?
So I would say that most of that, I think people would say is true. I know that's what I've been led to believe about a lot, except the passionate fan part, because I know they had some history. The hooligans and things got a little out of hand, so they put some restrictions on how crazy they can be. And I do believe Germany has most passionate fans. I could be completely wrong, but that's just kind of what I know so far. Oh my God. Where is this? I might have spoken too soon. Where is this? Anybody know where this is?
This legit happened in a European top 5 league. It's so crazy that we've decided to figure out which league is the best and rank them in an insane order. But before we get into any of that though, I need to let you guys in on something first. That subscribe button to Football Historia, hit it if you haven't already to get more content like this. Now, for context, this would have been a top 5 league debate. But over in France, well...
So you said the Saudi league was better than Ligue 1.
The French league?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Easy.
Pelos nomes que foram, né, para a Liga Saudita hoje.
Yeah, he says Saudi is better than the French league. But I mean, what does he mean? Does he mean the play, the passionate fans? I don't know, just curious. Let's see what Mr. Neymar is saying here.
Pelos nomes que foram, né, para a Liga Saudita hoje. Olha, não sei não se não é melhor que o Campeonato Francês.
No disrespect to the French audience watching. I mean, we've seen a couple of decent French teams over the years, like Monaco and Marseille, but on the stretch of a longer run, it's mainly been single dominance from PSG.
Yeah.
The gap is quite considerable between the league above France, and because of that, we base this on the other 4 instead.
Well, that's interesting. But yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the only 2 teams I know in France, as he says, is PSG and Lyon for not good reasons, but those are the only two teams that I know in France. But let me see, what did he just say? Did he say that basically they're just going to look at the other four because he's automatically assuming or going with the fact that France is not good? Hold on. Hold up. Let me read that. Let me listen to that again. Hold on.
Mainly been single dominance from PSG, the gap is quite considerable between the league above France, and because of that, we base this on the other four instead. To get into it properly then, and to kick things off, it'll be these guys. To anyone who isn't German or doesn't watch the Bundesliga frequently, it's like a sea of yellow and black, the yellow wall. But to anyone who does, it's just a regular match day in Germany. The German...
We know about them because of our Football Manager adventure that we're on. I was going to say Football Manager channel, but we are here on American Offside. We do Football Manager stuff. And the team that I started with is Borussia Dortmund. So I know that. Black and yellow.
Bundesliga comes up first, and straight away, if there's one thing that stands out about these guys, it's the atmosphere the league tends to witness on a match day. It's almost second to none. Actually, it is second to none. In terms of percentages for seats sold, the Bundesliga ranks first in the big European leagues, and there's a reason for that. It's affordable. See guys, in Germany, tickets for standing in terraces usually start at just €9, and a lot of these clubs allow rides on local public transport to and from the stadiums. If you think this is crazy, wait till you hear about the club that's taken it one step further and doing it for free.
Oh, who's this? Dang. Tried to be all fancy and guess, but I don't know.
Fortuna Düsseldorf. As part of their Fortuna for Everyone project, the club intends to give out free tickets, selling a capacity of over 54,000 within 5 years to get a proper bond with the community and fans. I can't even lie, in a modern day setting where club owners and investors want to drain the life out of fans, this is incredible, and it gets even better too. You'd probably have heard about it by now, the 50+1 rule.
Yeah. Before we get into that, what did he say? You get free tickets? Is this, hold on. When was this? This was 4 months ago. So is this still a real thing? Like you get free tickets? Is this the team that I did a story on? No, I thought that was in the lower division. Where they were giving away free tickets. Okay, anyway. Let me know about this, because that's pretty interesting. And of course, this is my favorite thing about the leagues in the Bundesliga. Is the 50+1 rule. So let's talk about that.
Bundesliga, and if you haven't, well, you do now. So what exactly is the 50+1 rule? Well, before 1998, the Bundesliga was completely owned by the members and not run on a profit-based scheme, meaning the fans controlled the club, and there was no chance of an outside takeover. However, as the game continued to expand, with teams outside Germany getting bigger and better, the teams in the Bundesliga soon realised that if they wanted to compete too, they'd have to allow some sort of outside investment to the club. So they agreed, but with a catch. After 1998, they allowed investors to buy shares into the clubs as PLCs, but the teams made sure that the fans retained 50% of the shares, or at least half of it, and an additional share to make it 51%. Hence the 50+1 rule, meaning investors could only take up a maximum of 49%. And the fans would always be in control. Someone tell this to Man United. But jokes aside though, this is again incredible. And it goes beyond just fans in the Bundesliga, because when it gets down to it, it's an exciting league for two main reasons. Young talent. See guys, every German club in the Bundesliga is obligated to run its academy. Over the last 20 years, German clubs have invested over €20 billion in academy development projects. And the result...
20 billion with a B? And before we go on here and get too far away from the 50+1 rule, I do know about RB Leipzig. So yeah, they found a way to skirt the system. And I know that they're not the most popular in the Bundesliga and probably in a lot of places.
Bundesliga is obligated to run its academy. Over the last 20 years, German clubs have invested over €20 billion in academy development projects, and the results are showing on the pitch too. Bayer Leverkusen won the league in the 2023-24 season, and they did this with an average squad age of 24.9 years. For context, the average age of Southampton at 25.6 years is struggling in the Premier League. No league in the top 5, or top 4 for the purpose of this video, has given more minutes to young talent than the Bundesliga. Serie A in Italy comes second with 32,194 minutes to young players. The Premier League comes in third with 29,085 minutes. But first is the Bundesliga, with 35,120 minutes. Overall, the Bundesliga, with a makeup of fans, young talent, and young coaches too, gives it a feel-good factor to it.
Why should someone watch the Bundesliga?
I think it's a feel-good, friendly league. You know you're going to get goals. You know you're going to get high lines. You're going to get transitions.
4-4s,
you're gonna
5-5s.
Yeah, you're going to get young managers. You know, there's a lot of ideologists in the Bundesliga. I think a lot of managers are coming in with their own kind of style of way. You can maybe argue a lot of teams play quite similarly in the Bundesliga, but it's quite an interesting watch.
That is super interesting. So the players, from the player perspective, having young players, that might feel a little bit like in the United States, like comparing college to, let's say, college basketball, probably football, and college sports to professional sports, in that the younger players, the college students, have like more of a drive to prove themselves. I don't know if it's very similar here. But the other piece that I think is pretty cool is that you have new coaches that are trying to prove themselves and probably have fresh ideas because they aren't so set in their ways a lot. So you probably get some pretty interesting and creative tactics and ideas and philosophies and, you know, defensive pressure and all of these things. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
That good? Why isn't it ranked higher then? Well, there is one major drawback with the league.
And take your best player, can take your best coach, can take your best prospect. That's not a good relationship to have within your own league.
It's this. It might have calmed down a bit, but it still happens. The fact that almost every team in the league can bend over to Bayern and have their best players sold to the club as a final destination, the German endgame. But it's to the next league in the video, and these guys are crazy about football.
But if you want to learn football, the #1 league in the world, sophisticated right here, is Serie A. That's right. That's right.
Really? Serie A. Oh, wow. Interesting.
That's for sure. 100%. You can't argue. You can't argue. You can't argue.
You don't agree with that?
Is Serie A really the #1 league in the world to learn football? It might just be. The best word to describe Serie A then? It's hard. Doesn't mean it's any less exciting still.
I'd say he's up there with the Premier League, definitely. Tactically, I'd say he's better than the Premier League, but they just don't have the excitement of the Premier League.
We're seeing this from the angles of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Micah Richards now. One is a player who's played for top teams in Serie A, and the other is Micah Richards. You see, guys, the misconception with Serie A has been the fact that because of how defensive-minded most of the teams are, it's usually boring matches. But it's far from that. If there's anything this
Okay, hold on. So he just said that the teams are more defensive-minded? Is that right?
The teams are.
I thought the teams in Bundesliga were like more defensive-minded because don't they, a lot of them play the Gegen press?
It's usually boring matches, but it's far from that. If there's anything this current 2024-25 Serie A season has shown, it's that the league is unpredictable. Teams like Juventus and Lazio may have fallen off the mark in the last couple of weeks, but it's been a very tight race at the top this season. It's still very uncertain who's going to win it.
It makes it more entertaining 100% to watch the Italian league right now. You don't know who's going to win. We've been arguing for months about who's going to win.
I mean, here you've got three guys believing 3 different teams can. And a look at the teams involved just shows how tipsy-turvy the league is. Napoli, the champions in the 2022-23 season, had a horrible 23-24 campaign. They finished 10th and had 3 managers between the guy who won the league, Luciano Spalletti, and the current manager, Antonio Conte. An Atalanta team who might be having recent success now. But get this, before the appointment of Gianpiero Gasperini, the current Atalanta manager in 2016, the highest the team had finished was 4th. And that was in 1948.
I was going to say, the way that field and everything looks, that had to be like in the 30s or 40s or something. Let's see.
Was 4th. And that was in 1948.
1948.
Then there's Inter Milan, Champions League runners-up in the 2022-23 season, the defending Serie A champions. And even they haven't looked all that convincing this season. Look at the table again. And in 4th place, it's Juventus with some pretty interesting...
Okay, I just realized, I don't know. He said Inter Milan. So, I don't know. I see Inter all the time. Now, I kind of knew exactly who that was, but obviously now I do. So, yeah, there you go.
Numbers this season: 11 wins.
I don't claim to know everything, so I don't claim to know much about football. I'm learning. It's
Juventus with some pretty interesting numbers this season: 11 wins, 1 defeat, 13 draws.
Oh my
13.
God.
They've only lost 1 game and they're still 10 points off first place Napoli this season.
Oh, wow.
One of the most exciting features of Serie A has to be the fact that nothing is given in this league. Anyone can beat anyone, irrespective of the position in the standings. Napoli, first place in Serie A, lost 3-0 at the start of the season to a Verona team that's just 3 points off the relegation place in the league. Or Inter Milan, dropping points against teams like Monza and Bologna. Notice how we haven't talked about the traditional big guns like AC Milan and Roma, and that's because these two teams have been unable to find a decent run of consistent form in the league. They sit 7th and 9th on the table respectively. When it comes to atmosphere on match days, Serie A isn't lagging as well. This is the atmosphere at Napoli's Diego Maradona Stadium. And no, it wasn't between Napoli and a traditional top team. It was against Torino.
Wait, Diego Maradona Stadium? I don't know this, but did he play there? I mean, I know there's a strong connection between Italy and Argentina, but that's interesting. Wonder why it's called a Diego Maradona Stadium.
And no, it wasn't between Napoli and a traditional top team. It was against Torino. The San Siro, one of the best cultural stadiums around the world. And when this place gets rocking, it's usually insane. So if we know the teams, the competitive nature of the league, especially at the top, and the atmosphere, what's the issue with Serie A then? The obvious one is money. I'll use the stadiums as an example. Out of the 20 teams competing in Serie A this season, only 4 of them actually own the stadiums they play in. The remaining teams have to rent out the stadiums they use on match days, and this over the years has become a problem. Because the cities renting out own the stadiums, they're usually very reluctant to make significant upgrades, and it all just makes for less appealing aesthetics. It goes beyond that too. It's become a theme to see clubs selling their best players to rival teams. Why? To be able to compete financially. If you take the Bundesliga, for example, the usual final destination is Bayern Munich, but in Serie A, you end up seeing players who've played for 2 or even 3 of the traditional top teams in the league. The likes of Romelu Lukaku, for example, had spells at Inter Milan and Roma. He was linked to Juventus in the summer and now plays for table-topping Napoli. Hakan Çalhanoğlu of Inter Milan has played for both Milan clubs, a tradition that's been around for a while now. Gonzalo Higuain played for Juventus, Napoli and AC Milan. Tejan Koopmeiners from Atalanta to Juventus. In general, the weak investments in the league and the overall administration of it doesn't give Serie A the proper outlook it deserves. In that regard, in terms of outlook and package, no one does it quite like this league.
You know, that much less intense than
right.
we are here. But it all just feels so intense, also because of the presentation, the way the fans are so close to the ground.
The atmosphere's played a big part,
The atmosphere. And, you know,
the Premier League is a lot of things, but the one that stands out is the advertisement of the league, the branding, the packaging, all of that stuff. I mean, think about it. On social media apps, TV channels, and adverts, think about how easily accessible the league is. You're on X one minute.
That's true. And I think that has, you know, I bet you if you were to ask most Americans, you know, people from the United States that, you know, if you were to ask them like what teams they knew in Europe, it would probably be either Manchester United, Manchester City, you know, one of the teams that are in the Premier League. So, yeah, and that's probably a true statement he made
And
there.
adverts. Think about how easily accessible the league is. You're on X one minute, and the next is a tweet or photo about a game from the league you probably missed. Since the turn of the 21st century, the rebranding of the league has continued to grow. TV revenue deals, more and more sponsors in the league, and the league continues to reach different parts of the world.
Specifically, the Premier League here goes beyond star power. According to Nielsen, by the way, the Premier League regularly accumulates more than 3 billion viewers over 190 countries per match. It is by far the most popular league in the world.
Per match? I thought he was going to say like 3 billion viewers per season or something. Holy crap. Per match? Oh my God.
Viewers over 190 countries per match. It is by far the most popular league in the world.
Wow. Look at that. More than 3 billion viewers in over 190 countries. So what is it about the Premier League that makes it that special other than the advertising and the marketing? Well, the competition itself is insane.
Premier League England, it's high pace. It's front and back. So even if you're high-level technical player, if you cannot manage the pace, you will not handle even with your technique. So that's pace.
But I think it's just the way English football is. I remember when I moved here in this country like 18 years ago and started playing. So there's some mates that I met playing football, and we played in this like Sunday afternoon league. And the first game, like I could not catch my breath after 5 minutes. Game, I promise you, it was literally literally box to box. Everybody was running. The intensity for a Sunday, it was a good level, but it was still a Sunday afternoon level. Nothing like fancy or anything.
Two different people. Foreigners. Zlatan played at the highest level in the competition. Julian Lawrence talked about his experience playing at Sunday League level. Two contrasting levels of competition, and yet they've both come up with the same answer. The Premier League is intense. It's hard-hitting, back and forth action, all of that stuff. I mean, the league might not be as technical as the other leagues, but when it comes to proper drama, it's got it.
Premier League. Always. Couldn't even finish the question.
Always, mate. Always. It'll always be the Premier League. Like, even watching Everton face a team like Norwich, that's still first-class football. Wow. You're still going to get a great game out of that.
Bro is spitting facts. You see, part of what makes the Premier League that interesting is that outside the traditional top 6 teams, the rest of the lot can put up exciting matches, and that's saying something. Considering that the rest of the teams aren't small either. You're talking about the likes of Brighton, Aston Villa, Newcastle United, and Nottingham Forest this season. These clubs are outside the top 6, and yet, when they play, it has almost become a must-watch. Another interesting aspect of the Premier League is the feel it's got to it. It's the right mix, and that's thanks to the addition of foreign talent to the country.
When you are a kid, you start working on that technically, and Italy is tactically all the time. In England was the Como. Position of maximum opportunity, so the direct play. Yeah, so long ball, second balls. I remember my stats at the beginning. The keeper has more passes in the final third than any other player because they were playing long balls all the time and second balls.
Rafael Benitez explains why the Premier League is so far behind in terms of coaching talent here, and he's got some pretty solid points. The idea we're trying to bring out of this, however, is that with the addition of different foreign managers and systems, tactics and all of that stuff to the league, you've got a proper mix of interesting teams now. The way Brighton plays under Fabian Hurtzler, for example.
I'm going to get back to this in a second, but this is super interesting because he makes the Premier League just sound so amazing. So much going on. But there are I think a lot of clubs that have upset fans because they don't have something like the 50+1 rule. And you have all of these rich owners that are coming in and taking away from the core of the game that's important to the fans. So, yeah, that's tough. Like, is it exciting? Who is exciting for, I guess? So, I don't know. That's interesting. Let's get back to what he was saying.
A mix of interesting teams now. The way Brighton plays under Fabian Hurtzler, for example. All-out expansive football, the way Pep's Man City plays, the Spurs play under Ange Postecoglou, the way David Moyes' Everton plays. All the teams and more have different systems that make them unique, as opposed to, say, an Italian Serie A, where the primary duty of most teams is to defend first, and it just makes for a very exciting league. Then the players too. Think about names like Thierry Henry, Eric Cantona, and Patrick Vieira. The introduction of these players brought a new feel to the Premier League, and made it even more exciting. But that it's exciting doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. And to this end, it's down to the one league we haven't covered yet.
What makes La Liga one of the best leagues in the world?
It's not as fast as the Premier League, it's not as fast as the Bundesliga, but there's a calm presence when you're watching La Liga. The players, they're all technically good on the ball, but all the teams want to play in a certain way. And yes, anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League, but if you see the way the smaller teams play against the Madrid, play against the Barcelona, they go for it in a different way.
Technically speaking, it's the best league in the world. This isn't up for debate. There's more to it, but let's focus on that technical aspect.
What the hell? I'm like confused now. Technically speaking, what does he mean? Like how technical the players are, or is this just like a statement that he's making? Technically speaking, La Liga is the best in the world. Oh my God. Okay, all right, okay, hold on.
In the world. This isn't up for debate. There's more to it, but let's focus on that technical aspect first. See, guys, with La Liga, like the video talked about, each team, from the top end to the bottom end, is very, very coordinated. I mean, true, they might have similar playing styles, like wanting to play out from the back and passing into the final third, but they have different ways of executing it. For football purists, this is the league. But what really makes La Liga the best then? Well, we could use different metrics, but in the end, we'd be judging based on the competitions where teams from the 4 leagues we've mentioned all come to play each other, and in this one, La Liga has been very dominant. Here's a crazy stat. Since the 2001-2 season, teams from La Liga have played non-Spanish clubs in 19 Champions League and Europa Leagues, which include teams from the English Premier League, the Bundesliga and Serie A. They've won all 19 of those finals. Let this sink in for a second, because it's as crazy as it sounds. I mean, think about it. We've talked about every league so far and what makes them good. But when it's time to actually compete against each other on the grandest stage, the teams from La Liga, they always win. That says a lot. That's the collective side of the game. From the individual standpoint, well, it's the same too. La Liga has produced the most Ballon d'Or winners, the award for the best player on the planet.
I don't know. Is it skewed a little bit because you had Messi and Ronaldo? And, you know, so you had, you know, MSN and BBC. So I don't know. Is that making it a little bit skewed, what he's saying?
Too. La Liga has produced the most Ballon d'Or winners, the award for the best player on the planet, more than any other league. 24 times, 12 to Barcelona, 12 to Real Madrid. There's no achievement metric in these competitions that La Liga teams haven't managed to either meet or surpass. Man City won the treble in 2023, incredible. Inter Milan in 2010, amazing. Bayern Munich and Barcelona have done it twice. Real Madrid did a 3-peat to the Champions League from 2016 to 18, then won it again in 2022 and 2024. The Europa League belongs to Sevilla. They just let other teams compete until they get bored, make it to the final and win again. In essence, guys, each league has that one feature, sometimes more, that makes them unique. We've talked about the Bundesliga and its fan passion and ability to produce talent, Serie A with its unpredictability and the tactical aspect of the game, and the Premier League with its branding and influence all over the world. But in the end, it's all about winning. And when it comes to that, the real winners are in Spain. Thinking about some epic matches between teams from the best leagues over the years, that final from 2011 immediately stands out. Click the next video to find out why the 2011 Champions League final will never be forgotten.
Oh, wow. Man, well, that is super interesting. I'm not going to pick a league because I have no idea. This is going to be my first season that I'm going to be watching. So let's just kind of regroup on that at the end of the year, and I might have a better opinion. But I am definitely curious to hear what your opinion is and which league do you think is the best and why. Because, hey, that's what this channel is all about. I'm just trying to learn, and I'm glad that I'm kind of stepping out a little bit and looking at some other leagues. I live in Spain, and I barely looked at La Liga. Boy, other teams in La Liga. Let me rephrase that. All right, listen, I definitely appreciate you sticking around this long. Go ahead and like the video. That would be awesome. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.